So welcome again to PGA Championship week, Quail Hollow. We're going to do a little bit of a breakdown, not the whole course. We're going to look at the green mile, the last 3 holes. It's that scary, it's got its own nickname. So we're going to look at those 3 holes. I'm going to play each of the shots off the tees that they're going to be playing off. So one, you can see where a relatively normal golfer hits to, but just to give a bit of insight of the holes, what they're going to be seeing and playing and how they're going to run through each of those shots, strategizing, and really take a look at those last 3 holes as what it's going to take to finish that tournament off. So as we said, we're going to look at the last 3 holes in particular. Now Quail Hollow is a course, they use it most years on PGA Tour. We know the course well, and we've got this other video, we've done a little bit of a breakdown of who's likely to win or not. So if you want to know the reasons why we picked certain players or we like certain bits of the course, just check that video out. But we're going to start the last 3. So it's a fairly kind of traditional North Carolina course. It's got water on it, it plays long through the air. We're going to start off, so those last 3 are the real key to either finishing your round off in the opening rounds to make sure you get a good score, or for those lucky enough to be close to the lead or leading into the last few holes, you've got to get through these to get that tournament win under your belt. So where do we start? So we're going to do a flyover, and we can do a flyover of the 16th hole, kind of a run through of the entire hole, sort of drone style. So what do we see here? So trees by the tee, 16's a bit downhill. So actually it's not a huge amount of visuals off the tee, but as you can see on the right here, there's a bunker and a tree. So if you hit it up the right, you're either in the bunker or you're blocked out by the tree, so that's a bad miss. But you're then downhill to a green, surrounded by water, left, long, bunker on the right. Now, it's not a huge target, especially considering the length of the hole. The top guys are going to be playing it off 529 as a par 4. Now, it doesn't play quite as long as it's downhill, but it's still quite an intimidating hole. So getting it in play off the tee to allow you to then attack the green, that's really critical. Because the rough's going to be wet, you don't want to be offline. So you want to be in play, otherwise you're hacking out a rough or you might even struggle to get there. But how will this hole actually play? So we're going to go back to the tee here. So what we'll see on screen, place ball. So the normal members medal tees 435, 440. Now these guys are playing at 529. So I can see a little tee down the bottom of the screen here that I can place this ball on. Now, this, I can only go back as far as, I keep clicking back here, to the back of this tee. There we go. I can only go back as far as 490. So the tour guys are going to have another best part of 40 yards on top of where I can play this hole from because they created a new tee for this tournament. But what are they seeing from this tee? As you said, it's a bit of an infinity tee shot. You can see the framing of the fairway by the trees on the left and on the right. You can just about see, you can just about pick out the bunker on the right there. Now, I don't know from their tee how raised it's going to be, whether they're going to be able to see that, but obviously they'll have done their research for the practice rounds. But that's going to be critical to avoid, but it gives them a bit of a marker point. So we're going to give a bit of a run through. I'm going to hit a couple of the shots, see how this hole plays. So, big finish coming up. Obviously it's driver, you've got lots of space. There's no real run out that's going to be a problem. But you've basically just got to clatter one down the middle. So actually this might, where I hit to, might actually mimic where the players are going to play to, because I'm 30 yards further forward. So, it's a long hit to get past that bunker. I mean, probably for those guys 350 odd, which is a bit of a big ask. Bryson might manage it, Rory might manage it. I certainly can't. So pretty solid, felt quite straight, good solid hit. I'd certainly take that. But we can see here, I managed to avoid the right side of the fairway. So what that's done, that then opens up the line down to the green. So in terms of how far I've hit that, we've got the fairway set onto soft for this as well. I've hit that 290. So significantly less than they will be hitting it, but it's in play. So where does that put me? It's right down the center line. I've now got opened up that hole. You miss it right, which I'm going to hit one now just up the right, just to show where that comes to. So if I miss one and come out of it slightly, little short, I mean that's popped up a little bit as well. Off it goes to the right, and you can see here now there's going to be thick rough up this side. I've actually missed it so far right that in principle I might be able to see round the tree, but you've got that big old tree on the corner. If you go out the right hand side and are short of the bunker, you're blocked, so you can't afford to miss that side. And as you look down the left hand side of that hole in the bottom right corner of the screen, you can see the layout of the hole. There are more trees up the left, and if you're far enough left, there's actually water. So again, just hitting it down that centre left side of the fairway, really, really critical, but it's a massive hit to take that bunker out of play. So it's probably only the likes of someone like Bryson who might be able to. So there is an advantage for him there. Let's shift it up and I'll put it to where I've hit to. We'll play the second shot from there. So this is basically where that first tee shot of mine got to, sort of centre left of the fairway. As you can see, just looking straight down towards the green, nothing in the way as you'd hope out the middle of the fairway. I've got 207 and they're going to have that or maybe a little bit less. But with the conditions being soft, what we don't have now, depends how much they suck the air and moisture out of the greens as to how firm they can make it. But when it's playing soft, it's like chucking darts. You can just fire straight at the pin. And if they do keep the conditions soft, then they've got to put them right in the corners of greens, put the flags in the corners of greens so that the player's got to take a risk to have a go at it. If they firm it up a bit more, then that gives them a few more pin positions to play with. This one's pretty much centre. So what have I got? 207, playing a few yards downhill. This is really, for this hole, kind of green-like territory. For me, I'm just going to hit 5-iron at this. It's really all about just missing it in the right spot. Obviously left is completely dead, but as I say, if they get soft conditions, then basically you should be able to go straight at it. So pretty solid swing. This looks like it's gone quite well. But we can see here, soft conditions, that's just landed and stuck. So unless they really suck the air out, you can just fly straight at it without, even if you get a little bit of a draw, unless they've really shaved the bank, which we'll find out in a couple of days' time, then it can kind of run towards the left side. It's not going to kick and go down the hill. Much like, say, someone like Augusta, it was firm, and if it takes that bounce front of 15, there's nothing there to stop it. It's come off the green in the water. But when it's soft, it can land and hold. You're not going in with a short iron, it's not going to spin massively, so you can pretty much just take dead aim. And hopefully, if I was needing 3 pars to win, I'd quite like that shot into the green. So hole 17, so we've got through 16, long par 4 down the hill, get rid of that one. Now you're faced with this. So as you can see from the screen here, we've got, it's a strongish par 3. The guys are playing it off 223 yards, which it's long in most of our books. For those guys, they're probably hitting a 5 or a 6-iron, really. It's not that long for them. It's a lot of distance, but they hit it so far now. It's not a monstrously long hole. There's one earlier in the round, which is looking at the card, is playing at 249. That starts to get them to think a little bit, but they're probably hitting an iron into that as well for the long hitters. But this one, what have we got? Well, you're faced with water short, water left, water long left. So that catches your attention. So short and left, absolutely dead, can't miss there. So there is a little bit of a bailout up the right, but again, depending how gnarly and thick the rough is, it's going to be wet, it's going to be heavy, there's going to be a lot of it. So again, that doesn't leave you a particularly friendly pitch back to the green. If I go on to fly over here, as we did with the 16th, you're just looking at, a lot of water. It's not a small green. It can't be from that length of hole. But again, depending where they tuck the pin, that back left pin position or even front left pin position, that's going to be where they're going to put it on the Sunday. They're not going to stick it safe on the right. They're going to put it right tight, probably tuck front left if their scoring's good, which I'd expect it to be based on the conditions. So, it's a hole that kind of probably more for these guys, it's more the visuals, the kind of the principle of what might go wrong, rather than actually being a brutal hole. But again, like the 16th, we'll give it a play. I've got to go back here and find the tee again that we're going to be playing off. We need to get it back to 223. So there's the tee there. 224, great, perfect. So we're now stood looking at a little bit more of a hole to hit at. For me, I've got a much longer club in my hands. I'm probably hitting, it's a good 4-iron to this. I certainly don't want a club I've got to steer at it. I want to commit to a swing. So let's get that 4-iron out and give it a go. So anytime you've got to take a long iron out on a par 3, then, well, let's say that really makes you think. And for these guys, even a 5 or a 6-iron, they don't do that often on tour. Most of the time, it's 6, 7s. But yeah, we've got all that trouble left and short of the green. So quality of strike's really key. You've got to pick your shot, commit to it, especially if you're in that leading couple of groups coming into the last few holes. We haven't got wind on this one. They might have some wind to contend with, although the forecast looks quite mild in terms of wind this week. So it should just be a case of, right, pick your spot, just right of the pin, commit to it. Hopefully it all comes off. But you better hit it well. Good strike, but I've just anti-lefted that a little bit. So this shot's now just drifting a little bit away to the right. It's going to take a little bit of yardage off. Now on the simulator setup here, that's kind of cut fringe. You can bet your bottom dollar that is going to be thick rough when you come to the tournament week. So for me in these conditions, you're looking at it and go, okay, that's a potential up and down, a chip. You put thick gnarly rough there, that's now, you've got to hit it hard to get it out, and you're hitting towards the water. So your touch better be pretty good. So that's going to be something where we're particularly going to see, it's not just the bomber side of it. If you miss, your ability to play out of that thick stuff, to put some speed in but control the flight and control the distance, that starts to become really testy. So you're looking at the guys like Shane Lowry, who's just come second last week. He's come second a couple of times. He's now to the top 10 of the world. His short game really has a value for those sorts of shots. It's not going to be quite US Open setup, but now it's damp as well as thick. That's really going to take some sting out of the club head. But, and I'm going to give it one more go. Again, if they keep it soft, you hit the green, you're going to hold it. So let's see if take two, I can find that green surface. I've gone right again. Chicken. Hit it well though, but yeah, that's an absolute stinker. My wedges better be pretty good if I was playing that. Don't think I'm making up and down par there. And then you're faced with 18. So here we are, 18th hole, Quail Hollow. If you're me, you've just screwed up 17 to bogey the last, so I'd probably need to birdie this one. And you're probably not feeling great about yourself, having missed the green, not got up and down, and you're faced with basically a narrow fairway, water up the left. It's off this tee 449, they're playing at 494. So I've basically got to eagle a par 5 relative to what the rest of us will be playing to try to get back, to try and get into a playoff. Tough ask. But again, let's have a little look at this hole. This hole's so renowned for ruining scores at the end of a tournament. McIlroy in some of his wins has nearly gone into the water and kind of lucked out and just missed it. So if someone that good struggles on this hole, well, let's take a look at why it's so hard. So starting on the tee, you've got that creek running up the left, and it's always in your eye line. So it's going to suck the ball towards it, or you're going to veer away from it. So it takes a real strong mind to hit straight down the line. You've got that bunker up the right you've got to avoid as well that guards the safe line. And if you're in play, you're faced with that water going all the way up to the green, around the side of the green. It's always there. It's an unending issue of this 18th hole. And where this pin is at the back half of the green, it narrows towards the back half. And again, long left, you've got the water there as well. So anyone trying to force a shot to the back of this green, if you get a little over exuberant and tweak the face over a little bit as a right-hander, that water's waiting for you. If you're out of position in the rough, it's a heck of a long hole. You may even have to think about laying up and trying to get up and down. But I'm going to go back and just replay this fly through just to reiterate one thing about this, is we've got, yes, the further back you go, you've got more room. You're pinched in by the bunker off the tee, so accuracy is really, really key. But notice how narrow this gets up towards the green. So if you've hit it out of position off the tee, you're either playing safe and laying back just short of that bridge we've gone past, or you're going to a very narrow neck of grass, which, do you really want to take that risk on? It's making you play further back. Very clever design. Oh, wish me luck. I'll give it a go. So it's inevitable that, get to here, the big stick's got to be working well. And some of this last few holes, it's that visual intimidation. It's the tees. The tee that they've got for this one, 494, you can see in the kind of the middle ground, that's the usual members back tee. So it's taking you back, it feels a little bit more claustrophobic. You've got trees right and left around you, and you're looking right at that water up the left centre going, that's the one place I really can't afford to go. So for a lot of the players, that bunker's right in play, 290 odd off the tee, 297, that's marked out as right in the middle of that bunker line up the right. So for them, that's carry distance. So someone like a McIlroy DeChambeau can bomb it past it if they really catch it. And you know, the fairway still stays relatively wide at that point. But for those that aren't quite as long as them, then you've got that fairway narrowed in. So now I can you reach it. It plays a bit wider for me, but it's still, God, you've got to trust your swing off this tee. So if we take sort of right center aim, and I've just got to pick a line, far left edge of that bunker, and just commit at it. So swing felt solid. Maybe didn't strike it right out the middle, but you know what? It's probably going to take a bit of yardage off. I take that. It's not in the water. It's just crept into the first cut, but it's not in the thick stuff. I've got a reasonable way in, but I've got a second shot. I'm not dropping. And that's rule number 1 on this hole. So off that tee shot of mine where I didn't quite middle it, I've got 224 into a back pin. That's a heck of a long way. It's uphill, only a few yards. But you know, as you can see with this, we're looking right down. Again, that water line's right in the eye line because it comes in and in front of the green before it kicks to the left a bit. Again, visually very clever design. So, you know, the guys off that back tee are going to be, relative to what I'm hitting, I would expect them to be 20, 30 yards further up on a half decent hit. Whereas I'm left with quite a long way in. Now, you've got to be conscious of where the miss is. You know, the bunkers aren't a great miss because they're quite deep, but it's better than going in the water. But again, you've just got to front up and hit a great shot. I think Jason Day, when he won in 2018, basically said, there is no let up. You've just got to hit good shots the whole way around of these last 3. You've got to hit a good tee shot, a good approach shot on 16, a good tee shot on 17. You've got to hit a great tee shot and a great approach on 18. There's no other option. You can't get away with anything less than really good. So I'm going to have to, you know, hope I get a bit of a flyer out of this, grab my 4-iron and hit it hard and hope, because I don't particularly want to try and, you know, if my bag setup, I'd be putting 5 wood in the bag for this hole. I don't really want to play a little shot into this green. I've always preferred committing, and out of a slightly dodgy, you know, an okay line, the semi-rough, yeah, I definitely want to be committed. So anywhere at this point, you know, you're just trying to find the green surface. So it's just, yeah, pick that spot, yeah, probably on this where the pin is, sort of at the pin or just right of the pin, stand and hit it. Now, I'm also, if I was on course now, this is the same club I've just missed the green right on 17 with. So you're battling all of those demons at this point in time, but you're saying, look, I know I've got to hit this shot. Do you have it? Do you have it in the locker or not? Those guys probably do more than I do, but straight, it's not brilliant contact. Is it going to get there? Oh, just, and breathe, and breathing, and we've missed the water. Didn't think we were going to, actually. I didn't think I hit it well enough, but we got away with it. And really, that's kind of part of the mentality. You know, if someone's absolutely flashing it and nukes one down the last and then going in with a 7-iron or 8-iron, if it's someone like McIlroy who's just hit a bomb down there, you know, I'll hit a shot from where they might hit it to. You know, all of a sudden, you're not playing from here, playing from about here. So we're moving that right up. We've got 175. So, you know, they're going to be at least here. So I'm now going, right, we're on the 4-iron out the rough. I've got a 7-iron out the fairway. That's a pretty different prospect. Now I'm not going, my goodness, I need to get this perfect. I'm going, it's a solid hit. You know, it's a much shorter shaft, much more loft. You're playing out of a good lie. Sod's law, I hit a rotter here. But you're going, right, this is a much more comfortable shot. It's just a good, solid swing. You know, which, even though it's drifting a little left, I know it's landing soft. I know it's within the confines of the green. And there we go. That's a lot more relaxing. I know where I'd rather be after the 18th tee shot. So I hope you've enjoyed that little bit of a run through the last few holes at Quail Hollow. Thankfully, I don't have to putt on these greens because then you might see some real nasties. But you know, I think it should be, we're coming into those last 3 holes, hopefully with the players who are on form and the kind of players that this course suits, your Schefflers, McIlroys, Justin Thomas, DeChambeaus, this is potentially set up for an absolute blockbuster of a finish. And there's that jeopardy. It's much like Augusta, although hopefully not quite as dramatic. I don't think our hearts can take that. But where there could be birdies being thrown in, but there could definitely be some bogeys chucked in as well, maybe even some doubles. So you could go from hero to zero or zero to hero, just like that. So I hope you enjoy watching it. It should be a great week. Can't wait for this one. And yeah, so check out all the other videos, like, subscribe, we'll look forward to watching the PGA and doing a follow-up as to who wins and what's in their bag after the tournament.